I'm Andrea Berkeley, and today I'd like to read a passage from my favorite banned book, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. It was banned for depicting childhood sexual abuse. Letting herself breathe easy now, Piccola covered her head with the quilt. The sick feeling, which she had tried to prevent by holding in her stomach, came quickly in spite of her precaution. There surged in her a desire to heave, but as always, she knew she would not. "Please, God," she whispered into the palm of her hand, "please make me disappear." She squeezed her eyes shut. Little parts of her body faded away. Now slowly, now with a rush. Slowly again. Her fingers went one by one, then her arms disappeared all the way to the elbow. Her feet now. Yes, that was good. The legs all at once. It was hardest above the thighs. She had to be real still and pull. Her stomach would not go. But finally it too went away. And then her chest, her neck. The face was hard too. Almost done. Almost. Only her tight, tight eyes were left. They were always left. Try as she might, she could never get her eyes to disappear, so what was the point? They were everything. Everything was there in them. All those pictures, all those faces. She had long ago given up the idea of running away to see new pictures, new faces, as Sammy had so often done. He never took her, and he never thought about his going ahead of time, so it was never planned. It wouldn't have worked anyway. As long as she looked the way she did, as long as she was ugly, she would have to stay with those people. Somehow she belonged to them. Long hours she sat looking in the mirror, trying to discover the secret of her ugliness, the ugliness that made her ignored or despised at school by teachers and classmates alike. She was the only member of her class who sat alone at a double desk. The first letter of her last name forced her to sit in the front of the room always. But what about Marie Apollinari? Marie was in front of her, but she shared a desk with Luke Angelino. Her teachers had always treated her this way. They never tried to glance at her and called on her only when everyone was required to respond. She also knew that when one of the girls at school wanted to be particularly insulting to a boy or wanted to get an immediate response from him, she could say, "Bobby loves Piccola Breedlove. Bobby loves Piccola Breedlove," and never fail to get a peal of laughter from those in earshot and mock anger from the accused. It had occurred to Piccola some time ago that if her eyes, those eyes that held the pictures and knew the sights, if those eyes of hers were different, that is to say, beautiful, she herself would be different. Her teeth were good, and at least her nose was not big and flat like some of those who were thought so cute. If she looked different, beautiful maybe, Charlie would be different, and Mrs. Breedlove too. Maybe they'd say, "Why, look at pretty-eyed Piccola. We mustn't do bad things in front of those pretty eyes."